it's being reported right now that Adrian Wojnarowski, is saying Pascal Siakam is being drawing interest from the Indiana Pacers. So the Indiana Pacers, I think, are the best team to go after Pascal Siakam, as I think they can give him a decent package. The quote is, I believe that they'll continue to be a team that probes on Toronto's Pascal Siakam is, of course, Mr. or the Indiana Pacers. What can they offer? He makes $37 million, and the Pacers, they can, I believe, can eat some of that salary, but I think for them, if they wanted to do a trade like this, it's going to come down to them having to package. Would Buddy Hield have to be in that deal? I think that's where it becomes interesting. Do we is Buddy Hield, or is it going to be like a guy like Bruce Brown? Because the easiest way to do this deal, Bruce Brown, TJ McConnell, and Jarris Walker. I've heard that if there is going to be a deal for Pascal Siakam, that it's going to be around Jarris Walker, unless they can convince them to take a combination of like Jalen Smith. But for me, the easiest deal, Bruce Brown, TJ McConnell, Jarris Walker. Next easiest deal, Buddy Hield, Daniel Tice, Jarris Walker, because that's going to lead to the Pacers not having to give up as many picks. And if they're really trying to go in on this Tyrese Halliburton timeline, then they would go after Pascal Siakam right now and try not to give up as many picks as they would if they'd have to go for, obviously any other play. Like by trading Jarris Walker, you don't have to give up as much compensation. There's that. That's what you're thinking. And so for me, that makes sense, as I wouldn't want to give up too much compensation if I'm the Indiana Pacers. At least that's my thought process. But it's all going to depend on what will happen as the season progresses. But that's where we're going to hold on to that thought, because I think any other deal, because like giving up Bruce Brown, for Pascal Siakam isn't too much. Okay, I feel like that's a really good deal, and most people would be happy with that if they can do that. But again, there is the idea of, do you want to force it and try to want to not rock the boat? And that's a decision you have to debate in house, and with the deadline, we'll see how good the Pacers are and if they feel like those are moves that are going to help them put over the edge. But some news has came out and said that the Indiana Pacers are interested in OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam. We talked about earlier in the show that December 30th is the deadline that the Toronto Raptors have set with Pascal Siakam for a extension. So if no extension comes out for Pascal Siakam or OG Anunoby after December 30th, that means they are more than likely going to be traded. As we know, they have registered interest from the Indiana Pacers. The Raptors are right now trying to decide what they want to do with the players, as they both will hit unrestricted free agency this summer. The Pacers have been rumored to be looking for upgrades after their run to the in-season tournament finale. The Indiana Pacers hope for a deep playoff appearance. The Pacers have not been to the playoffs since 2020. Now, for Toronto, they have given no indications on how they're leaning, but OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, and Gary Trent Jr., who's also a pending free agent, are players that seem to be most likely to be moved. However, the Raptors have indicated that they have no intention of a full-scale tear down or rebuild, that they would rather retool on the fly and build. The thing is that if they do trade Pascal Siakam, they will more than likely keep OG Anunoby, as they see him as a perfect fit next to Scotty Barnes, and he's a bit younger and he fits the timeline a bit better. Now, Gary Trent Jr., I think they would move just because they wouldn't want to pay him, and he doesn't provide, a multifaceted skill. We do know that the Pacers are also interested in Tobias Harris, so it does bring in kind of like an interesting situation. So Pascal Siakam this season, his three-point shot is not falling at all like it has in years past. He's shooting 24% from three, but he is shooting 50.7% from the field. And I've always liked Pascal Siakam. I've always thought he's great. He's like the poster child for what a point forward should look like. But if we're giving an honest assessment of Pascal Siakam, he's a guy who's, the agility, the speed, his athleticism are big parts of his size. So that's why I kind of get scared with Pascal, that like his prime will nosedive very quickly, as he's a lethal threat running the floor as a point forward. But the problem with him is that he can be inconsistent at times. Like his 3-point shot went from being somewhat consistent to you know, a work in progress, it feels like. He's a tireless defender, but as he gets older, will it be there? I mean, the guy won most improved players, 2-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA. He's 6'9" with like a 7'3" wingspan. Like, these are traits that you can't teach. But if I'm the Indiana Pacers, I'd rather go for OG Anunoby, Tobias Harris, because of, you know, availability is the best ability, they say, always. Am I wrong on that one? And I just feel like you need to get someone who fits the timeline better. And I think OG and Tobias, who are younger, fit the timeline better than Pascal, who is closer to being on the wrong side of 30 than he is on the right side of 20. That's just my thoughts.